got suckered into that. That's really what's going to wake up black people. That's really what's going to wake us up when we start realizing ain't going to be no help from nobody else and nowhere else. When we stop running to that government and sitting in, let me go and mess you up so y'all can go on and get mad and never come back. The worst thing that happened to us was civil rights. It taught us to sit. It taught us to keep trying to be with folk who didn't want to be with us. Every other ethnic group has a nation and has a homeland and a place to go. We are the only people in the world that's fighting to stay with folk who didn't like us. When we tried to get up and go to a place, I was telling my daughter, I said, Stisha, now I've been to Africa, this is 6 years, I don't know how many times I've been there. I found out black people in America don't think they're African. I've heard black people say they're not African. And I can't understand that. Down in Belize and down in the Caribbean, those black people don't want to be identified as African. But they all came from slaves coming from Africa. But the colonial masters done such a good job to keep us from connecting that we don't even want to, we don't even want to be around our people of origin. So when I go to Africa and I talk to the Africans, they can't figure it out. They keep saying, don't y'all have it good in America? America's the best. And they don't know we're saying America's the best for y'all. Because these cats have nothing against y'all. They don't hate Africans. They don't got no beef with Africans. That would be just like, if you fought somebody and somebody lived on your block. If you fought that person, they lived on your block and they moved out and another family moved in, you ain't mad at that family that moved in. They just lived in that house. You don't care about them. It's the one you fought. Well, that's what we don't understand. This thing, the destruction that's coming has a lot to do with the wages. Let me go on and go here. Because this is where we got to wake up from. We have ancestors that sold their life into this soil. We were old. Now, don't use this as a crutch to be nothing. Because you could just drop out and smoke weed and you're going to still go through the system and go to jail and go through what you're going through. But because this nation did everything in its power to deny justice for the ancestors that died. Now, I'm not talking about, I was talking to my daughter yesterday, I was teaching her about the slave thing. I'm not talking about the millions that made it here. Because we know the number's astronomical. When they talk about our people that left Africa, it's astronomical. We up into over 200 million. If any of you all ever went to the museums and you saw those slave ships, how they packed them like sardines, they done that because they knew half of them would die. So they said, we pack them tight enough, we know half of them going to die, so at least we have the other half. So you counting half of the ones that only made it that was on the ship. Count the ones that just jumped off the boat and died. Said, I ain't going. I'd just rather die in the water. The slave trade was so dirty that the sharks changed their migration route to follow slave ships because so much food was being thrown over, with Africans being thrown off the boat and being dumped over, dead bodies being dumped over. So we're talking about, if you're talking about 100 million, let's just use that as a figure because it's more than that, but let's use it as a figure, then you're talking about 50 million gone, never made it. To count the other ones that was put down into the Caribbean, and then you got to count the mixtures, the mixed breeds. Then they raped us, because they did rape men too. It's books showing that they raped men too. They was perverted. They raped men. That's why they didn't teach true history of slavery, because they would have showed the real cruelty and the real way that they really were. Now, I'm not telling you that so you can get upset about it. I'm telling you that so you can get an understanding. Now, the problem is that this nation did everything in its power to cover a sin. The Bible says if you cover your sin, you will not prosper. So when they emancipated from slavery, they did everything in their power to whitewash history, burn all the books, get rid of all the evidence so they can get rid of it so they didn't have to pay. They didn't have to pay us for what they had done to our ancestors. So they kicked the can down the road and kept giving programs and passing laws to appease the people and get our little weak, spineless black leaders to make us feel our eating out of the master's hand through welfare, that we never rose up and said, okay, y'all ain't got to get, we have a righteous cause. And if we just stand up and say, we're going to serve God now, God will make you give us what we want. But we're going to get out of y'all systems and get off and quit letting y'all use us to push y'all true philosophy, which is homosexuality. Now, how in the world the Duck Dynasty man said something about homosexuals? They going to put on the news now, he said something about blacks. Why you got to put us in that? Why you got to equate the only people with a real cause with this foolishness? And you ought to be mad as a black person that they actually put that together, and you got a nerve that, y'all need to quit talking about them. Quit talking about us. Everything they want to push, they use us to push it. Then after they get up, they leave us. Women's rights would have never got through, not women's rights, but feminism. Women's rights was good. Feminism was bad. And through feminism came in abortion. So after they used us to push abortion, guess who they aborted? They aborted us. That's why our babies are being killed. Two of every one. One of every two is being killed in the womb. So they use us to push causes, then they leave us. So because this nation, is this too much, y'all? Because this nation covered the sin of slavery, it became Martin Luther King said it's a stain. It's a moral stain. How this woman dressed up in her robe of liberty with this big stain that they want to keep trying to wipe off, and that blood won't come out. And the same way that God said the wages of these slaves in Egypt cried out, so shall the wages here cry out. But God had to wait for the Egyptians to start realizing that they was children of God. Had to wait till they knew who God was. Because those slaves did not know who God was. Your ancestors were slaves because they was worshiping devils. They was worshiping, they was into spiritism and all that stuff over. Still in Africa, they doing it. So they didn't know who God was. And then once we found out who God was, we came and mixed in a little bit of our little root working and our little tradition, superstition. God waiting for people to get pure enough to say, we know who God is. And I said it before, and I believe in my heart that God in his wisdom said, listen, in order to get these people together, because now God love everybody, white and black. I'm not saying we do. I ain't no racial preacher. I'm trying to give you an understanding. God love everybody, right? But I know God is wise in his wisdom to say, you know what? These people are so, because they don't have no foundation, they don't have no history, they don't know nobody but great-grandmama, they can't go no farther than that, they don't know who they are, where they come from, they are lost people. Any culture comes in and they'll follow anybody. 1 minute they Chinese, next minute they Jewish, next minute they white, then they're Italian. Look at how they put Italian mafia movies out. Now all of a sudden we walk around like Italians. We have followed everybody. Irish movies, we Irish. No matter, because people don't know who. We don't know who we are. And God said, they keep on looking for a Messiah. They keep looking for somebody. So, okay, here's a black president. I'm going to show you ain't nothing going to happen. When are y'all going to turn to me? Y'all want a black president so you can live better in sin. When you going to turn to me and live righteous and then I can take all this stuff away? Y'all want to talk about this. So as Obama got elected, people talking about, well, I ain't going to have to pay my mortgage. I ain't going to have to pay. Who said who? Even if he did do something, he wouldn't pay that. You don't pay your mortgage, you won't be outside. I want some Obama money, Obama phone, Obama bucks. Come on, please. And I really believe in my heart that the Lord, okay, now what y'all black folk, now what you going to believe? Now what you going to say? Now who you looking for? Now we need a woman president? I guess we're going to get help then. Ain't no help coming from the government. How can you get blessed in Pharaoh's house? America is the epitome of Egypt. Turn your dollar over, you'll see Egypt on back of the dollar. It's the epitome of the Egyptian system, which is slavery. So why in the world are you going to be in a house of slavery and be free? You're a slave, still a slave. You're a slave until you get tired and say, we are a nation. I'm moving on. The Israel people, oh boy, I'm telling you what I'm saying now is deep. The Israel people were slaves until they come together, realize we are a nation in the middle of these cats. Now, see, anytime we start preaching about who we are and start trying to get us together, now all of a sudden, even black folk get problems. Well, can't everybody get along? We trying to get along. We've been getting along. We keep getting along. You saying that because you ain't never been nowhere. You still live 2 miles from where you was enslaved at. You get on a plane, go to Africa. That's why I'm so glad my daughter, she went there to Costa Rica. I said, when you got off the plane, you was a human being. You wasn't black. They didn't treat you. Nobody looked. You walk in the store, they ain't looking at you funny. Why? Because you was free. But you come here where this system has encrusted you to make you believe that you inferior and you less than and you the thug and you gonna steal and your women are attitude ratchet and your men. And we're the only people that they take the worst of us. We ain't the only ones on welfare. Welfare is in Appalachia. All them food stamps is in Appalachia. All that welfare is in Appalachia. Them cats walking around with 4 teeth and cooking up crystal meth, walking around having sex with their cousin. That's where that welfare money going. But they put us on TV. You Negroes are bamboozled because you don't know that that's not who we are. They use us to pass this stuff and say we need welfare reform. Go get your cousins. It's your cousin them. I've been up there in Pikeville, Danville, West Liberty, Kentucky. I've been down there. Them cats is the most backwards hills cats you ever want to see. And there's more welfare and disability checks going on than anywhere else in the nation. But every time they talk about welfare, they put our face on there to make us the face of degradation. And don't we play the role? Get on there and get ratchet, get to talking all silly, go on TV shows to get a trip to stay in a hotel, but you're going to make yourself look like an idiot. Maury and Jerry and all these cats getting rich, coming out with more people to exploit you. You're lost people. Don't know who your God is. Don't know your God of the Bible wasn't the white man's God. Don't even know the God of the Bible wasn't white. Ain't done enough studying to know. No clue about the Library of Alexandria, what the history of the world was that the Freemasons stole. That's why they had the knowledge of who everybody is. That's why they're in power, because they stole the history out of Alexandria. We already had that history. And we walk around as a people and we just shake our head at how like we just got this way. We got this way because we refuse to enlighten ourselves. We refuse to study. We refuse to go back to school. We refuse to read a book. We refuse to find out for ourselves. We won't research. We don't want to know. And anytime we hit with the truth, all we need is a little B96 and we'll ease right back into that easy chair of blindness. And we don't even like leaders that can see. We want blind leaders, leaders that don't say nothing about why we where we are. I was looking at something. I was showing my wife this girl. She got 15 babies, about 10 different daddies, and nobody's telling her that that's the problem. We was watching a guy. He had 22 kids, 22 children, and he still was ready to have babies. Running around like a little pretty Negro, had 22 children, and it was so bad that his check couldn't even give him all $3. I said, baby, I've never been for the prison system. I said, but that brother right there need to be taken on a form. Work this Negro and make him sleep and work. But y'all saying yes, but get the women and work them too. Because what stupid woman know he got 10? Y'all black women that come up off that ignorance, y'all ain't ignorant. These Negroes are dogs. He had 10 to start with. What other women gave him 11 more? Them is the one that need to go to the farm too. But the media frames it He's just a no good black man. And I can't for the life of me say, how does a man have a baby by himself? Somebody is enjoying this sex. Somebody is paying this brother to breed. And that's what we do when we are slaves. What do slaves do? They have babies. They labor and never get anything. And this is what we have. We have a generation of slaves. All they do is breed and eat. And they contribute nothing to what even the offspring, they don't even give to their kids. We are a generation that is still enslaved. And because we're living, and because we've been so conditioned to wait on the master, which is the government, white or black. And to be honest with you, it's the black ones that's doing us worse. It's the black ones. If I really give you a history, the Democratic Party started the KKK. The Democratic Party hated the Republicans because the Republicans are the ones that accepted blacks to vote. But all we look at is CNN, and we don't realize our true enemy is really the one that we accept and we trust in. The enemy of the black man and woman is the liberal. The liberal is the ones that pass these laws to manage you. They don't want you to manage your life. They want to tell you, this is where you need to live. And this is what, that's who came up with this welfare to get the man. There was a movie me and my wife watched. I said, man, I can't find this movie. It was a clip of it on YouTube. And whoever put it on there was saying, this is really what welfare was. And it was a movie, some of y'all might remember, of a man that he was a brother, he had kids by a woman, and he was going to visit her. And as he was going to her house, the welfare man was in the house. And the brother hid on the side of the house because the welfare man couldn't see him come to her. So as the welfare man left, he going to go in with the woman. The welfare man come back and say, aha, caught you. I'm getting ready to kick off welfare. You ready to mess up her benefits. You know you ain't supposed to be here. So the brother got mad because he felt powerless. Why? Because he couldn't do what welfare could do. So he grabbed the man and threw him in front of a car, which is pretty fitting. It's fitting because those welfare pimps are the one that came and was raping the women, having sex with them, keeping the men out of their house. Y'all don't even want to talk about that. That's a whole nother level of talking. So then he goes back, after he throw the man out, he goes back to talk to his woman, and his woman's, she's mad. Why'd you do that? You ain't doing nothing for me. We need this. The brother put his head down, walked away from his family. That's what happened to us. That's what this liberal philosophy did. And you Negroes voting the same way ever since. And they never did a history and research that the Ku Klux Klan and all these people come out of them. They was Dixiecrats, now they the Democrats. They still in power, and they formed a whole party to manage black folk. The Democratic Party was formed to manage you. And they still managing you today. Because they go get a few house Negroes and give them a platform and talk about how bad we got it, and people just sit back and don't do nothing. And the goal of these house Negroes is to make you look to the master. You just need more programs. Why are they shutting out the community centers? You just need more government money. You just need more jobs. Where the jobs at? Why we always ain't got no jobs? You just need to vote with us and be our voting bloc. We the only race in this country that they take for granted. They know how we gonna vote without even promising you nothing. Know how we gonna vote. Why? We slaves. Oh, I gotta get this out. We slaves. Still slaves. Still the master still leading us, telling you where to live and how much you can make and how many people can live in your house, and whether you can have a man or not. Slaves. And we sitting there thinking it's a good deal by going down and losing our dignity. Got to give them our income every month and tell them we ain't got nothing and hide money. Get paid under the table to keep a few benefits. Slaves. And all the time you think you're getting a good deal, and they sitting back hoping, hope you don't know we owe you. Hope you don't know this. Your ancestors are really due. Hope you don't know. Why you think they following you around? Why y'all, we are so slow as a people. Why do you think that we are managed? We are micromanaged. Because they are afraid. Anytime we had a leader, they kill them. Real leaders we have kill them. That's why you know all these leaders we got now ain't real. Because if they were real, they'd be dead. Real leaders die. Every time we had a real leader, they kill them. Why? Because the fear they have. I got, oh God, I ain't got time. I have a paper, but I was telling y'all about this paper by Briggs Davinsky. This guy's the one behind a lot of this stuff now. He did a study went before Congress, and Congress said, we have a problem. We do not want this African American to connect with the African. There's a paper, a congressional document, where they did a study on us to figure out how we can keep us from revolution. It was a whole study done. So what did they do? They start killing our leaders. That's how they did it. They killed Fred Hampton them. They start killing Malcolm X. They killed Martin Luther King. They start killing them. When they killed them, it did the same thing Jim Crow did. When Jim Crow wanted to train his slaves, he went and he got the strongest and the biggest and the strongest, and he whooped them and he beat them and he taught them. He tied them to a horse and pulled them apart in front of everybody. To get it in the Negro mind, this is what's going to happen when you rise up. So that's why all of the executions of our leaders had to be in public. Because it struck fear in the heart of the other would-be leaders. That's why we haven't had a leader since. Because they know they'll shoot you in your head. Now, we ain't had a good leader since. Why? Oh, y'all don't want to talk about this. No, this ain't what y'all want. This ain't what y'all want. No, this ain't what y'all want. No, y'all don't want this. Y'all want something without no fight. You want your children to grow up without a fight. You want to have a marriage, but don't fight for it. You want a man to love you, but don't fight to keep him. We want everything with no fight. That's the slave mind. Why do you think when God delivered the children of Israel from Egypt into the wilderness, why come they couldn't go to the promised land? They couldn't fight. They couldn't fight. God said, if you get in the promised land, you got to fight. Yes, I got something for you, but you got to fight. So he knew if he take a bunch of slaves in the promised land, they're going to roll over. Then the Philistines would be their master. So he had to weed out them cats that had the slave mind and get the one that said, we'll take, we'll fight, we'll possess. And that's why we on 40 years of the last real leader we had dying, and that slave curse is broken now. And God is raising up a group of Christian, because see, Christianity is revolutionary now. Christians are the most revolutionary people because we are the one being persecuted for real. But God is raising up a young revolutionary mindset, not to go out here and do the foolishness them cats do. They should have known they're not going to beat these cats like that. You get a gun, they're going to get a gun. That's the way it is. But what they should have done was they should have mobilized their people to fight against those leaders that they put over them. Because there was those leaders they put over them. Y'all don't want to talk about this. Okay, I don't want to talk about this. But anyway, I'm done. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. As far as for me and my sons and my daughters, I'd rather fight and win. I'd rather fight and lose than roll over and die. Who told you you can't get up? You've been drinking the Kool-Aid of your enemy. That's why we so messed up. Did you know we were educated by our enemies? Would you teach your enemy how to really get up? Why would I teach you finance and I owe you money? That's why none of you Negroes learned nothing about money when in school. You didn't know nothing. You taught you to put the decimal point right here, and that was it. What about stocks, bonds, broker, Wall Street, mortgages, credit? Didn't learn none of that stuff. You learned just enough to be a slave, an employee. That's why you're going to college, paying all that money, and you are going to get out of college and be somebody's slave. Right now, we want to go be a slave. Well, I got to go find a job. You talking about just going to be a slave instead of saying, I'm going to go start this business. Who told you can't have your own? We are deceived as a people because we keep going to a master who never had our good intentions. I don't care how they are now. I'm talking, they ain't got to do nothing to me now. There's enough stuff they already did that's messing us up. It's already done. We already messed up in our minds. Our women already don't want to marry our black men. They already like that. Now they putting out movies where black women are with white men. Now y'all think that's what y'all think? Please, please. A few of y'all might get one, but I'm telling you, you better come home to the brother. You better find that brother. Ain't no good men out here. Well, who was the one you had a baby by? He was good enough then. You black women got to come up off that lie. That's a lie they taught y'all that y'all a victim. You not a victim. You victimizing them children by keep making bad decisions. You victimizing them children. Keep trying to be a victim. I said it. Keep trying to be a victim. Got these brothers up here. All these brothers always beat down, feeling bad, but they ain't talking about what y'all doing. Y'all laying down, brother have a baby by you, you go have a baby by another man. You did that. You did that. Now, if you'd have kept one by one man, maybe y'all could have worked it out. But you can't do whatever you want to do with your womb. It's my body. Yeah, but you victimizing them children coming through that womb. And then, y'all heard what I'm saying. These guys, they don't want to do nothing. He ain't want to do nothing for you met him. Why'd you lay down with a man don't want to do nothing? What's wrong with you? You were looking for that. Where'd you get him at the club? What you expect? You get up off that lie. I said it. This is the part, I'm going to put this part on TV. This part right here. Get up off that lie. I'm going to want y'all to be delivered from that lie. Y'all ain't no victim because y'all had babies by a man. This system made you a victim to turn you against your black man, silly. He turned you against us. Now y'all standing there doing the work of the master. Whooping the man down for the master. That's the Jim Crow. That's the Willie Lynch curse. The woman will beat the man down. So brothers can't get up because the woman's beating the man down all the time. Because she believed the master's lie that he ain't nothing because she saw the master destroy him. To never put trust in him, never believe in him, but run down to the L&N building and eat out of the master's hand and call the man a dog. Yet you have his babies, but you won't encourage them. It's a lie. It's one of the greatest lies. Y'all throwing away good men, brothers that could be something. The man ain't no dog. If that's the case, then I would have been a dog. I grew up the same way. My daddy had the same curse, but I wasn't a dog. That's what's destroying us. Got a whole generation of women that hate men. You hate them. You're trained to hate them. Gonna end up lesbians. That's a lesbian spirit making you hate a man. Yet you want to be happy by a man. But how you can be happy when you hate him? You scared of him. And you hate him because you scared of him. I said you hate him because you scared of him. And every time you feel the fear of him, you get angry at him. So you push him out and you beat him down. Because you think that's the safe place to control. And anytime you let yourself open up, you feel vulnerable. You run back to that closed place and put him down and go eat out of the master's hand. And that same master puts you on stage and on stripper poles, puts you in videos to be whores. That same master makes you drug your children. That same master, you heard what I said. That same master makes you put him out, makes you go visit your man behind bars. The same master that you love and you in love with, you fall, you in love with him. That's what destroyed us. And if we wouldn't have fell for that welfare foolishness, men would have stayed with their family. We did it before welfare. Study us out. We had more marriages before welfare. That was a liberal lie to destroy the black family, to kill us from coming up. And now look at it. We got a bunch of angry women and a bunch of beat down, fearful men. We got men hiding under women's skirts. No wonder we can't get along. And all you want is a wedding. Don't want a marriage, just want a wedding. What foolishness is this? And now because our women can't handle, y'all don't fell for a lie. Most of y'all alcoholics, wine sippers, wine bibbers. Look at them. That's what's wrong with them. They wine drinkers. Tristan women they were drinking wine. They're trying to figure a way to deal with the sorrow and the pain that you've been bamboozled and tricked out of your good man, out of a husband, out of somebody who would have loved you if you'd have put some time in, versus sitting there looking at an Essence and a Jet magazine talking about 10 ways to get rid of him. The foolishness that we go through. You brothers ought not put up with that. You ought to say, I'm a good man. If you can't see it, that's on you. But another woman that can see will see me and take me, and I'll be a prince. Can't have a good man with the government in the bed. Got two men in the bed. You heard what I said. Well, if he Negroes just do something. Well, wouldn't be all these kids out here if somebody just locked it down 2 or 3 times. Notice we ain't talking about, see, that's our philosophy. We ain't talking about stop sexing. We're just talking about the consequence. Blaming it on the man. Like these brothers walking around here, the baby just touching your baby pop out. Touch your baby pop out. There's a whole lot of sex and a whole lot of raunchy ratchetness going on. And we talk about everything but that. Men coming in the front door and out the back door. 2, 3 men, juggling men. Look at them girls going on Maury, don't know who their father is. That's a lot of sex happening. And that's the average black girl now, don't know who the father is. Because they just give their body away, don't even care. Just out here being dudes. And if women could get you pregnant, most of y'all would be pregnant. Because y'all into that too. I ain't no fool. They into that too. All that pornography ain't been downloaded by men. And our black women got to come up off that lie. Come off that lie. All these years, I looked and I seen it. And I said, Lord, how in the world, the Bible says that the devil's warned against everything that pisseth against the wall. That's a man. That means Satan's after everything that can stand up and pee. That's a man. That's Bible. And we see those scriptures, but we can't go over here on the street corner and see these men over here drunk and locked out of society. We can't go down here and see millions of our men in prison, and we can't figure it out. And our black women have fell for the white media lie that your man is just a destructive beast. In reality, they ain't even seeing what's really happening. You conditioned to hate your man. The richest black woman can't get a man. That told me something right there. You mean I could be a billionaire and a man gonna marry me? I'm a billionaire? No, I ain't gonna marry you. You too, because you know I ain't gonna be your boy. I'm a man. And if you treat a man like a man, he'll put his shoulders back. And he'll feel confident. And he'll feel like I can do this. And I can get a job. And I can get on my feet. I can love my children. I can love you for life. I'll stay with you. I'll pay for you. I'll pray for you. We've lost our help. Bible called women our help me. We lost our help. Y'all helping everybody else. Y'all helping everybody destroy your own man. In corporate America, you helping them look down on your man just because they let you in the door. They ain't scared of you. Them people want you up there. Dress sexy. Dress sexy. Switch on in here. They like that. They don't want your man. When that white man look at that black man, he gets scared. He gets inferior. He don't care about you because they've always made love to you. They raped our women all our life. That's the whole, slavery was all about sex. But study it, it was about sex. You don't know what black women went through when they're in slavery. Most slaves were bought for concubines, men and women. Because it's a known thing, Europeans like men. Romans, Greeks. That's their curse. It's their curse. They like boys and men. Look, that's their curse. Study it out. Study the Roman out. Study Greeks out. You'll see that's why they run around naked. All these statues is naked. Everything naked because that's what they liked. And because they're not scared of you bed wenches, now they putting y'all in movies to get that in y'all mind. Just get with the master. You know, if you get with the master, you just ain't had the master. That's what it is. Master make it make sense. And y'all sitting there saying, ooh. Then when a black man with a white girl, you go, your lip turned up. And you know what? He ain't enough sisters out here for him to. But when you get with the master, you cooking the master's food. You talking nice to the master. Because you still have that slave DNA to submit to the master. But the DNA in you towards the black man is to fear him and be angry towards him for his weakness. Because they made you not depend on him during slavery. And that's what's wrong with you, black woman. And I said it, if I never see you again. And them kids, you training them in your own foolishness. They growing up under your mentality, and you making them a victim. And our boys grow up angry because you chose the master over their daddy. He left me for another woman. Girl, he left you because you was already had a man. You got to struggle together. You know why you won't do it? Because you're overlistening to your family. And that girl, he had something. You can't live like Big Mama's 40, 60 years old. She done lived her life and made her money. Honey, when you start out, you're going to struggle. But what makes you good is you struggle. Y'all want to hear what I'm saying. And you want to, that's what's wrong with us. We want to just walk and live good. No, baby. When you get married, in order for you to really grow in a marriage, you're going to have to go through some stuff. And you're going to struggle a little bit. Why would you need a man if you got everything? That's why they don't want a man. Well, I got my house and God, well, then what you need him for? And because he ain't needed, he don't want you. Because a man need to be needed. And you let him know how much you don't need him. The first word out of your mouth, I don't need you. Okay, let me find a woman that need me. And what do you say? He went and messed with her? Yeah, see, them hood rats don't, they need it. They needed a man. You too tough. You too tough to cook. Too tough to encourage. Too tough to say, I love you. Too tough to talk kind. It's all about you, modern woman. I said it. I got a message called Love a Right Black Man, but this ain't that one. You go listen to that one on YouTube. Today, loving right black woman. I'm tired of that lie. You go with every church, you got thousands of women sitting in church, and all I'm talking about, ain't no good men, but they got 2 kids right here. Something's wrong with this picture. You should be alone. You should be celibate. If you got child there was a man somewhere. I wasn't a good man in the beginning. Even when I got married, I didn't know how to be. I had to have a woman, I had my own understanding of what a man was. And I had to teach a woman to understand that I'm learning how to be what I never saw. I'm learning how to do what I have never seen done. So you can't be, you're going to have to give me an allowance. I ain't your granddaddy or your daddy who was 50 who was stable. I came out of the drug era where we all sold drugs first. we did illegal things first. It was normal. Then we had to, after we got in trouble, we had to figure out how to do right. That's what we come out of. And there are many men sitting down. You know where your husbands is? Eddyville, Lane LaGrange. That's where they are. They're down there locked up. Then don't you go down there and get them because they're down there now. Don't go marry no jail man now. Now I got to clarify that because no jail marriage. But most good men, I remember years ago, me and my wife would always tell people when we met them, when they come to church, say, we say, you got any children? Yeah, so that means you got baby daddy, yeah. Well, you probably need to go ahead and try to see if that can work out where you go and marry. Y'all got children, it'd be better to go on and keep that in that union. Because me and my wife wise enough to know he ain't gonna have just children by you after a while. You don't marry, he gonna have somebody else pregnant. So you need to go ahead and tie that up. You think you can do better because men in the world had sex with you. But you find that as a Christian, you don't find very men that will marry you. Girlfriends ain't got nothing on wives. Strumming my pain with his fingers. Yeah, strumming your pain this morning. Hurting your pain. Because y'all need to come out of that foolishness. Stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. It's a lie. That was a lie sown by the enemy to keep us from having families and marriages. That was his lie. He taught us to make our men feel powerless. Where they feel they can't even be a man to a woman or be a father to his children. And he made our women feel distrusting towards that man. And our families are split. And I'm going to tell you right now, we will have families if tomorrow all welfare stopped. Then you would need them. You wouldn't be ready to kick them out then because you're going to need a hustler. If you ain't got no welfare, you got to get a guy that can hustle. All of y'all that don't know me, listen, y'all know, everybody know I preach, I'm hard on the men. You brothers know I'm hard on the men. But today, I'm not on the men. Because I see a lie. When I sit there and look at Maury and some old English girl with a bad wig and Steve that was with Jerry and, and you sitting there, and these people keep coming, this new paternity court, and you sitting there like, are you kidding me that this is how we think? And every time I'm sitting there and I'm seeing these brothers talking about, I was trying to be with her, but she didn't want me, or she went and had sex with somebody else. And I'm saying, I thought the men didn't want to be with the women. I said, now the women have reversed the role, and now they like the men. And I see these brothers, and I see they having paternity tests, and he ain't the father, and he ain't the father, and he ain't the father. And I said, how in the world would a man ever accept a child looking at this stuff? What has happened? And then what happens? Here comes the lie, y'all. The man come out, boo. But when they find out you are not the father, oh, she runs out, oh. Now the man standing there, he's been victimized. They done talked about his character, called him a lying dog. Nobody ever goes back and say, sorry, partner. He's just a black man that got a bad rap. And that woman will go away and come back on there another day with another man, and it won't be him either. And we are desensitized to how bad we look. And if I was another race of people, I would sit back and say, these American Negroes are crazy. Don't they know they're being exploited? Don't they know? Don't they know? But we are so messed up, we don't even know we look bad. So busy turning up, we don't know anything but just getting high, drinking, smoking, having babies, abortions. That's all we know. And we are a slave people until we first come into the knowledge that Jesus Christ is Lord. We forsake all of these systems that we work in. We begin to say, Lord, thy kingdom is what we after. Your ways and your government. Because ain't no help coming from Obama or no other person. Hillary or Democratic, Republican, white, or even black. It's going to be when we decide we're tired of being a slave. Say amen.